go first?
Stand up, sit
Yeah,
down.
just stay seated.
Okay, cool.
I'll keep time.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah. Hi guys, so my name's Matt. I'm a postgrad student here, MSc Behavioural Economics. Did my undergrad here, economics with French. Back out, I started in 2009, graduated 2013. Year abroad in Toulouse, France. Last 2 years I've been worked in student housing, the UK's best student housing agency. Lived in Canada, lived in France. Since I got back, I've been working closely with Elliot and in fact Rajesh on a lot of postgrad events. I was the lead organiser of the Winter Ball, which was really successful. Also organising the Link 16 conference, which is going ahead this June. Shout out, put in your research if you want to. Also organising a number of other postgrad events. And I'm running to be postgraduate officer with the hope that I can build a bigger community for postgrads here in Nottingham with more events, better events targeted at postgrads, a better welcome week, and also make it more accessible to undergrads through providing them with better info and funding.
Thank you. Rajesh.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Rajesh. I'm a master's student in electrical engineering for sustainable and renewable energy. I hail from the city of Chennai, down south in India. I was born in India, brought up in the Middle East. I've traveled and worked in countries like Malaysia, Italy, Kenya, Egypt, and I'm here in the UK now to do my master's. I had the very good honor and pleasure of working with Elliot with the Postgraduate Winter Ball, the PG chats, and several of the postgraduate events. I'm a postgraduate sounding board member for the School of Engineering. I'm a course rep and a resident tutor at Raleigh Park. I've used each of these opportunities to try and make as many friends as possible, try to understand postgrads better, in not just academics, but with their social life, personal life, accommodation problems, a wide variety of issues. And I'm just looking forward to the results on the Friday night, and I hope I get to represent as many people as possible, both the local students and the international students, as a postgrad officer next year. Thanks.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Just to confirm, this is with 10 seconds left when I'm talking.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Do we get our 10 seconds?
Finally.
Okay. Yes, I'm Hayden Manuel. I've been studying maths here for 4 years now, so I know what it's like to be a Uni of Nottingham student as an undergraduate and a postgraduate. And I'm a member of multiple societies here. I've got a lot of society experience in MUSOC and BLOSOC. That's the wind orchestra and the normal orchestra. And I also do a lot of climbing and mountaineering within the societies at this university. Yeah, I come from Stoke, which is just west of here, and the focus that I am having is on addressing the issue of the segregation that we have between undergraduates and postgraduates. Why are they not being treated equally?
Okay, thank you. Fantastic. So great introduction from our three hopeful candidates. I'm going to start off the questions, and then we're going to open up to the audience, and just stick your hand up if you have questions, and we'll go from there. So question one, simple, personal question. Why do you want to be the postgraduate officer in the University of Nottingham Students' Union? Matt, if you can start.
Is there a timeout on this one, Dan, or is it just?
Just a minute, I'm going to tap.
Cool. I think the main reason why I chose to run for the role was because, as you know, of our close work together with the Students' Union, providing events for postgrads. We saw a massive opportunity for that to be expanded. I think we're doing a good job at the moment, but there's a big opportunity for much more to be done. I thought it was really achievable. There's a lot of things we can do. I spoke to a lot of postgrads about their experience here. I think I've got good experience in order to do that. I've studied abroad, so I've got that international experience. I know what it's like to come to a new place as someone who doesn't speak the same language, so I think I can kind of help all the postgraduates who are here and improve their experience. And also, because I did my undergrad experience here, I've got that experience in order to help those people as well. So in order to sort of reach out to everyone and just and do a good job.
Okay, thank you, Rajesh.
Cool. I'm an international student. I just entered the UK last September, but in this short span of time, I've been able to interact with so many different students, the locals, the internationals, and I've just put myself in situations and positions where I was able to help so many people. So I see this position, the postgrad officer position, as just one step more in reaching out to more number of people, making really impacting changes, and at the same time being there and causing a change for the postgrad community as a whole. One of the main things that I'm concentrating on is inclusivity and collaboration through my manifesto. So I want to make sure that I work and carry forward the work done by Anas, Elliot, and all the other previous postgraduate officers, and make sure that the postgrad community gets what it wants in the short span of time that it is here.
Quite briefly, the reason why I chose to run for a postgraduate candidate is because I've taken a lot from this university the 4 years I've been here. I've enjoyed it immensely, and I just want to give something back at the end of the day.
Thank you. Awesome. So, 3 honest, humble answers. Has any audience member got any questions or comments that you'd like to direct? Yes, Rob Jennings at the back.
So there are student surveys that currently go out to postgraduate students, but none, I would argue, carry the same institutional weight as the NSS, which is the National Student Survey, which gathers data on satisfaction with the Students' Union for undergraduate students. With that in mind, how would you use your position to leverage and ensure that the needs of postgraduate students are kept well and truly on the table and on the agenda in both union and university activities to make sure that postgraduates are getting the best offer?
Okay, do you all understand the question?
Yeah.
Rajesh, do you mind going first?
Yeah, see, I've had the opportunity to go through the NSS survey, and I think from the university statistics so far, the postgraduates have always felt a kind of disconnect with the Students' Union. The reason being, we are looking at an extremely large body of students, and the prime thing here that I feel needs to be fixed is the communication, because a lot of postgrads keep getting bombarded with emails. The events, several of the events news does not reach them on time. And I think that's one primary reason why many of them feel a disconnect, because they're not able to participate in the events that they're interested in. Or sometimes what happens is, even if they do participate, they just don't get to grab the whole experience that it offers, primarily because they're here for a short span of time. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
Okay. Hayden, do you want the question repeated?
Yes, please.
So there are student surveys that currently exist for postgraduate students, but none arguably carry the same weight as the National Student Survey, which is one that is held in very high regard by student unions and the university, but is specifically for undergraduate students. With that in mind, how would you use your potential position as a postgraduate officer to ensure that the needs of postgraduate students are kept on the table, on the agenda, and then they're getting a fair deal?
Well, it sounds like we need to set up a survey for postgraduates as well, and consider that with an equal weighting as the National Student Survey.
Okay. Short but sweet. Matt?
I'm going to disagree with you, Rob, and say I don't think the answer lies in looking at surveys. I think that's too long term. So you're gathering the survey and it's already too late. So what you need to be doing is seeking feedback all the time from postgrads. A lot of the societies that run events, they get feedback straight away and they say, oh, this was good or this was bad. What can we do? You need to be getting out there, because I know Elliot does great work, the sounding board does great work, but there's not enough representation of postgrad students. There's no PGSA anymore. I spoke to someone who runs a society like about 10 minutes ago. He said they want to have a postgrad rep. We need to take more feedback from students directly, and so we can make changes quicker. If you're looking at surveys that happen once a year or however often, the change is going to be really slow. You've got to be seeking feedback from people straight away, and that way you know what the current students want, rather than how it was last year. I'm not sure how often the survey's done, but you know what I mean? You've got to be quicker with your response. Your feedback's got to be more...
Okay. Anyone got any comments on those answers, or anyone got any subsequent questions? No. Great.
There's a word for that. Fast.
I have a question. Many of you have talked about postgraduate events, but how are you going to enhance the postgraduate academic experience? Hayden, if you go first.
Yes, sure. Enhance the academic experience. Well, as Rajesh so well articulated just a moment ago, a lot of events, and particularly events of an academic nature, go unnoticed. And so this is like an opportunity to sell themselves, to show off what they are doing for research. That opportunities are going to waste. For example, there's have you ever heard of the 3-minute PhD competition? Yeah. Well,
3-minute thesis.
Yeah. Now you see, I reckon a lot of postgraduates have never heard of such events, and it's an amazing way to showcase what you're doing as research, and it'll really put you on a platform. It'll get you a lot of interest. It'll get you a lot of citations, so that'll enhance the research experience of them, and it'll also get them more motivated. It'll get them working harder. Which and of course, if you have postgrads working harder, you get much better research. You get much better standing in as a university.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Matt.
Me? Perfect.
Oh, Rajesh.
Yeah. So my answer is going to be in two parts. One is for the masters, and one is for the PhD and postdocs. In terms of increasing the educational and improving the educational experience for the postgrads, the masters. In my manifesto, I've mentioned something where they need to be given practical experience or field trips. So as they study a subject, as they study a particular thing, they need to be taken out and be shown what's actually happening out there in the field. Because industry experience is what distinguishes you today, and not just research papers or your book knowledge. In terms of PhDs, I think currently, I came to know that a lot of PhD students tend to discontinue because of lack of funding support, lack of proper support during their thesis period and so on. So I think if those issues are taken care of as well on the PhD side, I think that would balance out the educational issues.
Thank you. Finally, Matt.
Okay. First of all, I think one way you can do it is there's a lot of talks that go on. So I know in economics we get loads of invitations to public talks. One thing I like to do is get all the SU events centralised so that people can go to talks from different schools, so then you would know what was going on. Also, I think Rajesh is on the sounding board, which we've set up this year. I think that's great. I was speaking to someone, they said they've only just met now for the second time. So I kind of look back to the same point, the feedback needs to be quicker with that. We need to get feedback. I mean, meeting in January, it's great, and obviously it's a new thing, so it's going to move slowly, but it needs to be improved, it needs to be done quicker. As I say, get more quick feedback and will improve the academic experience. Also, I spoke to Anas, he said that, and also a lot of people who do my course, they say the information about courses isn't great before you do them. Some people end up doing things that aren't quite what they expected, the quality of the course is maybe not what they thought, or it's not the right content that they were expecting. So providing more guidance before the course would be a massive way to make sure people are actually getting what they signed up for, which will obviously improve their academic experience.
Fantastic. Okay, any comments? Any questions? Yes, at the back, Hisham.
Okay, what's your plans to engage more postgrads in the societies and sports? Especially like the number of postgrads are just like 5% of all the societies and sports.
Rajesh, you can take that one for us.
Was just going through the stats again, and it said that close to 50-60% of the postgrads just feel that most of the society events and stuff are not relevant to them, which is not the case, as I found out personally by speaking to close to like 300 different students. One kind of system that I would like to put in place is a system where as soon as the postgrads just enter university, they could fill up a kind of a preference form that could be digital, and based on their preferences, say for instance, if I like sports, if I like football, if I like rowing, I'm going to sign up on those, and I'm going to keep getting information specific to those societies, specific to my interests, and that would be more beneficial for me than to get barraged with a lot of information on societies like which don't interest me. So automatically, once you specify the engagement opportunities, you're definitely going to increase engagement that way.
Jess, do you mind if I take you back in a second and let the other two answers first? Do you guys want the question repeated?
No.
Okay, Matt?
Can I go? I think, first of all, you need to encourage a sort of a cultural change so that societies want to engage postgrads. I think that starts when the postgrads get here. So I think the postgrad, there has to be more events, not just in the Welcome Week, but in the few weeks after that. A lot of people said they're so busy in the Welcome Week they can't go to the taster events that are then, but in the few weeks after, we'd like to see more taster events, more casual opportunities to engage. I'd also like to see incentives for societies to engage postgrads, rewarding them through the points system, for example. I'd also like to see them encouraging more postgrad or a single postgrad specific event per year per society, and that would encourage people to come in. Stuff like sports and societies for activities are quite easy to get people involved in if they know they can come. I was speaking to the head of the English Society just before this, and he said that they want a postgrad rep, as I said, for the courses, to get more people involved in the course societies. And I had another idea, but I've forgotten it, so I'm just going to close that.
Okay, thank you. Hayden,
We've
fine.
all heard of the try-it schemes that they have in sports and societies. Well, are they being advertised well enough to postgraduates? Like, is there explicit information saying that postgraduates can attend, and it's not just for undergraduates? We need to address that question. And we also need to address the question, would postgraduates be more comfortable if these try-it events, there were postgraduate specific ones, so that like postgraduates could get together and like make friends with other postgraduates and say, oh yeah, maybe we're interested in this, maybe we should, like, I don't know, and so they can have a bit of more of a friend network before they join the societies. So a bit of experimentation might be needed there.
Okay, thank you. Jess?
Yeah, so the first thing I was going to say, mainly addressing your answer, Rajesh, was the thing that you described, I feel like does already exist, because there are interest lists for sports and societies that you can join on, so you don't get bombarded with things. I don't know whether the issue is more getting postgrads to the Welcome Week.
No, I said that with specific reference to the postgrads.
Yeah, I understand that, but that is also open to postgrads, I believe. The interest list, it doesn't matter who you are. You get like, your barcodes for membership, you get that as an interest list as well. So you get the emails, but you don't necessarily have to pay for it. That is the thing, isn't it? I'm not being honest, like that is,
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, the other thing, you've all mentioned trying to kind of engage postgrads in society and sport events. How are you going to support the societies in doing that? Because I know from our point of view as a sport, we have an extremely busy timetable, and it's great to say, we want to do more postgrad try events, but how are you going to support us in firstly reaching the postgrads, and then also the admin that's behind getting that set up and the time, to do that?
Okay, that's a really good question.
Who is that directed?
It's a good question.
Just everyone. Yes.
So I'm going to try and answer.
Okay,
first.
you go first.
The very first thing that I would like to do is take up on Matt's point that there needs to be a postgraduate representative. And I think this is the responsibility of the postgraduate representative, who would be finishing the time when the new postgrads come in. So I could say that most of the tried sessions are not utilized by the postgraduates. And I think to get the postgraduates first to go to the tried sessions is a step one. And step two would be to make sure that we have enough postgraduate representation in each of the societies. So I'd be happy to work with the activities officer and the sports officer to try and identify postgrad reps, like how Elliot has identified a PG executive committee. There should be a PG sports committee specific to the postgraduate community as such. And that might help include the PhDs and masters to engage in sports activities. This is one way that I see.
Your question was, how would we support the societies in planning these events? Well, I would see it as a job for the collaboration between like ourselves, if whoever gets elected, and the activities officer, because we are not really responsible for the running of the societies, although like we do have interests in them because we want postgraduates to attend them. I wouldn't think that that would be an area in which the organisation of the societies, I don't think that would be an area in which we could cover. I don't think.
I guess it's more what I'm thinking about is we are planning on putting on a postgraduate hat next term.
Right.
My worry is how do we reach the postgraduates, and we have a PhD student on our committee, and it's trying to like kind of get how are you.
How would you get the postgraduates interested so that the event would be worth throwing?
Yeah, so I guess it's now turned into two different questions.
Right.
How do you support us in the organisation of the event to make it happen so that it actually has interest?
No, you see, I'd say that was collaboration with activities.
Yeah, that one's already been answered.
Yeah.
We're going to have to move on to Matt answering the question.
I do agree. It's obviously something to do with the activities office as well. I think the kind of the crucial point is that all societies are different, and so I know you're involved in equestrian, for example. That looks so different to English. I think it's kind of more about speaking to the individual societies. What does each society need in order to provide a good postgrad event, which is going to look very different in an activities one versus a sport versus a thing. I think I don't have all the answers about that. So working with the people who kind of have that special knowledge is first of all a good way to do it. In response to your second question about how do we get people to know about the events, I think the long-term goal would be to have all the events in the same place, because a lot of postgrads I speak to, or that I've spoken to over the last week, even since I've written my manifesto, who've been saying to me, sometimes I'm bored and I don't know what to do. And what if we had just all the events in the same place? You'd say, oh, I've got nothing to do Tuesday night. There's going to be a talk about Islam here, or a riding session, or a game of volleyball, or whatever. And you could just have a look, and that would encourage people to go along, rather than joining 200 Facebook groups in the hope of finding an event to go to tonight.
Valid. Okay, we're going to have to wrap up. I'd like to offer you each 30 seconds a closing statement, and consider everything you've mentioned, everything that you're going to add value to the role, and for the people in the audience and whoever's watching elsewhere who may not have already made their mind up as to why they should vote you, but you've got strictly 30 seconds, and Dan is going to point his pen at 25 seconds, please. Matt first, please.
Okay. What was the question again? I was listening to the rules.
A 30-second closing statement.
Okay, so first of all, I think that my experience with the SU makes me an excellent candidate to be the postgrad officer. I also think my experience in terms of being someone who's travelled around the world, lived in lots of different countries, and lived in places where I don't speak the language perhaps, will certainly help me to engage with the high proportion of postgraduates who are international. Lastly, I think that my real-world experience working in stuff like student housing, living in different countries, makes me a great candidate, and working on big projects as well makes me a good candidate to manage big budgets and work with stuff like that. So I think I've got all the experience to be a good candidate, and my manifesto is strong.
Thank you. Rajesh.
Coming from a rather humble farming background, my dad's an organic farmer, I've always thought that learning is possible only when the cup is empty. So I consider myself right now, as I'm nearing the stage when I might get chosen into the role, as an empty cup. So I would like to receive as much information, as much feedback as possible from all the other officers, because in my manifesto I would like to push for inclusivity, no one's left out, collaboration, everyone's included in the planning process, and the third most important thing is sustainability.
Okay,
So,
thank you. We're going to have to wrap you up there. Hayden.
Yep. Okay.
Sorry.
We can make promises beforehand. We can make manifesto promises, but at the end of the day, I don't think that we can plan for what we've let ourselves in for if we get the candidacy. So all I'm going to say is that what I would like to do is, if I get into the role, is listen to postgraduates, listen to their needs, act on their needs, to the extent at which, to the full extent of which is possible for me to do.
Excellent. Can we give a quick round of applause to gentlemen at ease? Next, I believe we have the president. So if the presidential candidates would like to come up for your question time. Cheers, mate.